You have a collect call from an inmate at the Washington Correctional Center. To accept the call, press 5.
There's nothing like waking up to the sound of clacking and buzzing as the doors crack in the morning after count clears. Waking up to the reality of life in prison. For some, it's just a stop along their journey, a milepost, an experience. For others, it is a revolving door, in and out, and that's their way of life, stuck in the cycle, pulling and eating away at them. And then for some, it becomes their destination, as the hammer came down and that judge issued them a death sentence. The slow way, by way of life in prison. This is The Life of a Lifer by Taylor Conley.
Keep on walking down the line. Keep on walking down the line. Keep on walking down that street. Keep on walking down the line.
Hello and welcome, friends and family. How are you doing today? Today's a good day, and this is actually the start of a new season. And with new season comes new adventures. We've got all kinds of things going on around here at Design Conviction and Life of a Lifer. You know, Design Conviction is the company that supports the Life of a Lifer. You're talking here with Taylor Conley on the Life of a Lifer, and I just want to let you know that I appreciate everybody who's out there supporting this movement, people that are picking up on it and really catching wind of what's going on here, and we're speaking the truth. We're coming from a place of hardship, going through the crucibles inside a prison, and spending life in here. That's why it's called Life of a Lifer. I'm doing life without the possibility of parole, and I'm just trying to really do something with my life, and I'm sharing it with you because I feel that I got a story to tell. I got a message to send that people aren't just people that can be locked up and thrown away and never to be heard from again in silence. And that's what people would like to do. They would just like to forget about people that are incarcerated. There's over 2.5 million people across America that are incarcerated currently, and the numbers are just rising, and there's no solutions really in sight. So that's what we're doing at Design Conviction, is coming with a solution. And the solution is in doing something proactive to really work on rehabilitation by our work. Art changes lives. And that is a motto that I live by because I believe in it. You know why I believe in it? I believe in that because it has changed through me and changed my life. I've been a storyteller, a songwriter, a poet since I was a kid, and I went through some very difficult situations going through these behavioral modification programs, which I've talked about a few times. And I'm getting more into telling that story because I'm actually writing about it, and I'm going to lay it all out in a book that tells about me and the story that I've been through. So you can really, once I get done with that, you'll really be able to get some insight into that. But while I was in there, while I went through that stuff, that's when I really started writing poetry. And that poetry turned into rhymes and then turned into songs. And then along the way, eventually, I was able to have the opportunity to put music to that, to put music to those words, to put music to, that expression that I learned and cultivated over the years that I just taught myself about. I never had any formal training at it or anything. I just really felt it within me, and therefore I put it out there. And I really just have been able to take the experiences and the pains that I've been through and turn them around, flip them into something better. And the expression through music is a powerful thing, and it really has the ability to move within somebody and change somebody. Not only that, but like the artistic expressions, because you can find freedom within art. So if you can find freedom within art, you can find freedom within life. And I believe anybody can do that no matter where they're at. I mean, just look at me. Locked up for the rest of my life, and have been able to find freedom within, and therefore been able to find happiness. You know, along that journey, I was able to cultivate and craft my art into music and make that into an album. And that's going to be coming out next month. We're going to be launching the Free Taylor Project, an album that started out inside a prison over 5 years ago and now has been brought to life, produced in a studio, and I'm really proud and happy and looking forward to it. And if you visit freetaylorproject.com, you can catch a preview of it, and you can see the 2 singles that are on there. You can also see some of the gear. You know, my boy Seth Anthony, who, if you check his interview out, we interviewed him last week, and man, this dude is something else. I really do appreciate this guy. He's a real dude, and he comes through the same type of struggle, different way, but the same type of struggle, and he understands what it's like, man, and he recognizes what we're doing here, and you know, he supports the movement so much, and he supports what we're doing so much. Not only did he agree to do some songs with me, but he also agreed to, we sent him some gear, man, and he's rocking the gear and posting about it, and I really appreciate that, man, as he's down there in Nashville, Tennessee, shooting this new music video for one of his songs that he's got with Struggle Jennings. And he's going to be releasing his album next month called 2020 Vision. And I truly respect what he's doing, and that's why I keep talking about him, because this dude is the truth, man. And I want everybody to hear about it, because, I mean, his words speak to me, and his voice is so powerful that he really has that potential to be a star. And he really has that potential to be the voice for the incarcerated and be the face of what's going on, because he is it. He works hard, he's dedicated, and he really believes in what he's doing, and he's not hiding who he is. You know, he's had producers, people have tried to make you hide stuff, like, you know, after incarceration and going through all the struggles that people have been through. It's difficult to live a normal life after that, to get a regular job, to do different work, and then when you try to move forward and do something with your art, to do something with your music, and they want you to hide that, to bury your past and try to put on a front of somebody that you're not, put on a facade, man. And that's why, you know, he's not signing to any labels or anything. He's doing it completely independent on his own, because he wants to be his own man, and I believe in that. And that's why, you know, we're really taking these stories and putting them out there. People that have gotten out and had success, and the guys that are left behind, the guys that are serving long-term sentences that may never see the light of day again. You know, these people do deserve to have a voice, to have their story told, you know, not to be forgotten about. Because at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all people. And, you know, Lizzie, I really appreciate her. She was on the show Love After Lockup, you know, and she got the way that she was painted on there and everything, and a lot of dramatics took place and everything. But when we sat down and got to know her here, as I was able to talk to her a little bit in this interview coming up, you see a whole different side of Lizzie. Lizzie is, you know, a person who has struggled through and persevered through addiction. And addiction is such a powerful thing. I got a real close friend that still struggles with it, and you know, it's not easy. Like, people don't get it. People don't understand what it is, you know, and there's a lot of mental illness out there that never gets addressed, and they just throw them away as pieces of trash and throw them into prison. And, you know, there's not really much rehabilitation that's going on. So we are trying, you know, it does happen, though. There is getting to be more. It's like the voice is being heard. Like, can't just keep throwing people away. You got to do something about it. I mean, it's called the Department of Corrections. It's not punishment. It's not supposed to be a punishment. It is in a way, but at the same time, you got to rehabilitate people. Otherwise, it's pointless. You know, the number of life sentences just keeps going up, and especially with youth. And I keep talking about this, but when I was a kid, I came into this system 20 years old. 20 years old, I was still a kid. I had the mentality of, you can't tell me anything. You know, I was set in my ways of not giving a fuck. And what that led me to was prison for the rest of my life. And I'm not even guilty of the crime that I got convicted of, but I'm not saying that I'm not guilty of anything, because I did all kinds of stuff that was wrong, all kinds of stuff that was bad, and I deserved to go to prison. And I've said that a million times, but I believe at some point there's got to be a way to redeem yourself. Isn't there some type of redemption? Isn't there some type of second chance, some type of way to be able to go ahead and have a chance to show that you can change? And I mean, after I grew up, it took me years and years to be able to get through that. But once I did, and I finally got it, and it was a mind state. I changed my mind state. I viewed things differently. Then I got it, and then I started making progress forward. And since then, I've just been able to accomplish things, have things that I was able to do that, you know, built that confidence within me. And now I set an example for other people to follow. I'm not perfect, don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect by any means. However, I have the mind state of doing positive stuff, and I want to help people. And I want to help people see that there's so much in this life that you can do. And I think that with this interview with Lizzie, she's a perfect example of somebody who was able to change her mind, and you know, now what she's doing great things. And she herself is a positive role model that I think can affect and help many people in their lives as well, to take her experiences and use that as things that they don't need to go through. They may not need to have to spend, you know, she spent 9.5 years in prison. They don't need to have to spend 9.5 years in prison to be able to find out at the end and see things differently. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm a firm believer in that. And what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, and that's why I keep going. I have the hope to once again see freedom, but at the same time, I have that freedom within me, and I hold on to that. And I got the hope that I'm going to help affect somebody else to not have to go through what I've been through. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, that is my biggest purpose here, is I want somebody else to not have to go through what I went through in order to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, or to see that shift in your mind state that says, hey, you know, damn, I didn't see things that way, but now I do. Now it's clear, and hey, now I know better, so I'm going to do better. Anyways, let's go ahead and see if we can get Lizzie on the line here and kick this interview off. And I want you to really pay attention to what she has to say, because this is such a bright and intelligent woman who has been through so much and come out on the other side, and now things are looking up, and she has a bright future ahead of her. So, welcome on, Lizzie. Hey!
Yes, hello.
So we
Hi.
got Lizzie here. Lizzie, you there?
Yes, I am here. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Doing real good.
Good. So, after the Love After Lockup show, you know, I would just like to sit down with you and talk about, you know, what's happened since then. What's your journey been like? What are some of the things you've been going through?
Well, after the TV show, I was on Love After Lockup and Life After Lockup. I actually have a real job. I used to be a stripper, so I never actually had a normal job. And so I've been working at Portage Plastics. I drive a forklift. I also go to school full time. Yeah, I know, right? Drive a forklift, me. Yes, I do. I go to school full time. I'm going for my drug and alcohol counselor degree. So I got 2 more semesters. Yeah, I got 2 more semesters left, and I got my AA degree. Yes. And then I also have my own thing. I also have my own website I just launched like 2 weeks ago. It's the Lizzie Kommes website. It's lizziekommes.com. I have
what's the
YouTube
last part
channel.
of it? Lizzie what?
Kommes. Kommes.
How do you spell that for the people? Okay.
Okay, it's Lizzie, and then the last name is Kommes, S as in Sam, and it's .com.
Okay,
so I have my own website with merchandise too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Like what kind of stuff do you got?
Well, there was so on the TV show, Scott, the guy that was my boyfriend out of prison, was like yelling at me. I was out of prison like 10 hours, and he was arguing with me. And then so cause I don't swear anymore, so I was like so frustrated. I didn't know what to do, so I was like, "It's all in your head, right?" And I like stormed off, and it was like a big scene on the TV show. And so people started saying that. So like when girls get mad at their boyfriends, they're like, "It's all in your head." And like so like it's a famous catchphrase that I made. Pretty cool.
Really? Well, yeah. See, here's the thing though, is I'm just getting to know you because I have really actually no clue about the TV show. I don't have access to that in here, but it's cool though that you are able to, turn that into something that, what kind of, do you have like designs and stuff that go with it, or?
I do.
Well,
like it's like the Lizzie. It's the catchphrase. The Lizzie Kommes brand is like a little heart over the eye and stuff. I mean, it's all on my website, and so it's just like I used to hustle like a whole different way when I was in prison and stuff like that. Getting tricks and everything. And so this is my hustle, but it's just a legit hustle.
It's
Sometimes
legit.
you gotta go legit. Yeah, sometimes
and that's what I promote to people. I promote to people that it's like, listen, you can go and do all this, that, and the other and end up doing all this time in prison, or you can just take that same skill set and apply it to something legit that's cool as fuck, and yet at the same time, you're able to not have to go and spend a bunch of time in prison, and you can make tons of money, more money even, you know what I mean, and not have to ever worry about anybody coming to look after you or getting in any kind of trouble and shit. So that's cool, man, that you took, and I promote that like in everything that I do. Is like, there's so many legit hustles that it's ridiculous.
Right. And
there's no need
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. But all the time that I spent using and looking for drugs in my life, I do that now. But that time, I think of ways like, how can I make this money? What can I do? What can I promote? What, you know what I mean? Like just different things that, instead of going searching, spending hours searching for the dope, you know what I'm saying? You use that time in a positive way.
That's exactly, like, if people put as much effort into doing something that is productive as they do into getting drugs or, you know what I mean, doing crimes and shit like that, they would be so successful. It's unbelievable.
Right. They would.
And
I believe that.
You seem to have figured that out, so that's awesome. I'm happy to hear it. It's a good story.
Well, thank you.
To know that you've applied yourself, and now you're working a legit job, going to school, and about to, do something that is going to help people. I commend you on that. I mean, it's not easy.
Thank you.
It's not easy to overcome an addiction,
Right.
People,
I think. Yeah.
People get stuck in that,
Well, yeah, I was stuck in my addiction. I started at like 17, and I've just been clean now. I'm 42 now, and I've been clean now 2 years, 10 months on December 13th. So I'm a baby,
Congratulations.
you know what I mean? Thank you. You know, it's like I just can't believe I'm clean. That's the thing. It's like, because I never thought I would ever see this day, you know?
Right. Right. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that's great. And you got that much time under you, so each day just gets easier, I think. You know, do you ever have times where you have cravings?
You know, I struggle with the alcohol. You know, that's what I do is I do struggle with the alcohol. But I had a recent breakup, and, you know, I was crying so much because, you know, all my emotions are here. You know, when you're on drugs, you kind of hinder those emotions. You ain't got none, you know? And so I was crying a lot, and I had one urge to use. Like, it was like I felt like I just wanted to take the pain away. And then, you know, I just kind of talked myself out of it. But that was like the only time, and that was like a few months ago. So,
Wow.
I'm pretty strong-willed on the whole drug thing. Like, I'm not gonna use, you know.
Was it like once you made up your mind, you were like, that's it, I'm not doing it no more? Because I think that's
it wasn't even me. Yeah, it wasn't me making up my mind. It was like God intervening in my life. Like, He took away my drug addiction when I was in segregation in prison. And I wasn't praying. I wasn't asking to God. Everybody was like, oh, because now I read my Bible and I go to church and everything. And, you know,
that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
I believe in God as well. I'm actually about 26 credits away from getting a bachelor's degree in theology through Bible college.
So proud of you. Wow.
Through correspondence.
Bachelor's degree. Yeah, if I would have did, like, you know, 9.5 years in prison, you would have thought I would have got a bachelor's too. But, well, you know, sticking that needle in my arm in prison.
Well, it's not always easy. It's not always easy to get hooked up with educational opportunities either inside of prison. You know,
well, I had them. Did you? I did do college in prison. Yeah, I did do college, but I got kicked out because I was loaded every day. So, I was like, it was kind of like I was trying, but I got like, yeah.
Right. I'm so happy to hear the other side of the story, though, that, you know, you persevered and, like I said, turned all those negative things into a positive. That's one of the themes of this program, is like turning a negative into a positive. And I do Toastmasters. Have you ever heard of Toastmasters before?
No,
So it's an awesome program. You should actually look into that. I would recommend it. I'm the president of a gavel club in Toastmasters that we have here, and I got into it about 1.5 years ago. And I gave a speech just on that subject, turning a negative into a positive, because I believe that any situation, any struggle that you go through, you can take that, flip it around, find out how you can persevere through it, and become that much stronger in the end after you do it. So Toastmasters is basically like public speaking, but it also teaches you leadership skills, and it gives you great confidence, I guess, in your abilities, because, you know, applying those things it takes courage, and being able to stand up in front of people. But yeah, man, I really do think that not only are you an awesome person, but you have been able to take your life and turn it into a story that I think you could help people. You know, I think you could help people overcome addictions just like you have.
Right. I believe that too, because there's so many people on my Instagram who message me, you know, and there's also a section on my webpage called Ask Lizzie, and you can ask me anything, and I will respond to your message. You know, I mean, there was this one girl, she taught me what DMT is. You know what that is? She's 15 years old. DTM? Something where you see angels?
Yeah, I know what DTM is.
Okay, it's like where you get to talk to God or something. Well, and so she's like 15 years old. Her mom doesn't know that she does this. And she's messaging me on my Instagram. And she's like, you know, I talk to these angels. I'm like, if she's doing what is it, DTM? DMT?
Okay, so this is something completely different than what I thought it was, but explain to me what this is now.
I don't know. It's a new drug.
My mind was in the gutter. I'm sorry. I didn't know where you're going with this.
No. It's a drug, and it opens your mind's eyes.
Oh, okay. DMT. Yeah, DMT.
There you go, DMT. There we go.
Yeah. Okay, now we're on the same page. Like, I was thinking something completely different.
Anyway.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to tell her, it's like anything that's a drug, I don't think it allows you to see, like, God. Like, I don't think that would be allowed. I think of maybe demons. You might be talking to demons that may look like angels.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But I was just trying to explain to her, and, it's like, that's not healthy. She's like, but I just want to be close to God. I'm like, it's not God you're seeing. I guarantee it, sweetie, you know? Like.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that you can achieve stuff like that through meditation, like to be close to God. Have you ever done anything like that?
Well, yeah, I get to talk to him in my dreams. I travel. I do all kinds of fun stuff.
What?
So I'm a little different. I don't know. I get to talk to him. Like, you know,
that's awesome.
He answers me, like, all the time.
Let's hear more about that.
Huh? Oh, okay, well, like, no, I mean, like, when I pray or whatever, I always see, like, the answer in my head. I don't know, it's like maybe the Holy Spirit, you know? And so I have a really close connection with God, you know, because he literally took away my addiction. And there was a reason for that, you know, and I was having a lot of dreams where I would fight demons. And I think that was when I was coming off the heroin, and the demons might have been my heroin. You know, I remember when I quit drugs, I had a dream. There was I think it was the devil, and he came and he said, I was at this place. There was a cash register, and I was the till girl, and in the back we were selling crystal meth. And so the devil says, he goes, I got this heroin, I want to trade you for some crystal. And I'm like, okay, right? So I went back, and all the crystal was in fish tanks, and it was in water. And then so I came back, I said, there's no more crystal because it's in fish tanks, because I guess they were slamming the crystal, so they put the crystal in the water, you know, it's easier. Instead of, I don't know. So anyway, so the devil says to me, he goes, I'll just give you the heroin. You take it. And I said, let me see it. And I grabbed it, I looked at it, and I started crying. And I said, I can't have this anymore. And I gave it back to him. And I think that's when, like, it was like my subconscious and everything aligned and said, we're done, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. I have pretty deep, intense. Yeah, I have intense, crazy dreams. We're not even going to tell you about the dreams of me going to hell. I go to hell on a regular basis. I'm sick of it. So hell is real. It really is. Like, yeah. Like, I wake up, like, in my bed, screaming, like, on fire. My, like, heart is pounding, like, it's horrible. I'm so sick of it. It's like, but I always got to bring somebody down there. I don't even understand why. Why do I have to do that? Like,
damn.
Yeah. I know.
You gotta hear my songs. You gotta hear my songs. If you hear my songs, we're gonna be on the same wavelength here on some of these things. Because I write about some demons and, yeah.
Right, because they're real.
Pretty crazy.
I mean,
so
I fight them every day.
If you go on to YouTube or anywhere where you get music and check out "Walk the Line" by Design Conviction featuring Caleb Twidwell, or "So Cold" by Design Conviction featuring Caleb Twidwell, you'll hear them. And then we got more coming out. The ones that I'm writing now are pretty. They're pretty with it. They're real talk. I think that you would connect with them.
Maybe. I'm definitely gonna check those out. Definitely.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on here and opening up and just talking with us and getting to know you a little bit, because you seem like a real cool person that's down to earth and struggling and battling your demons, but winning. You know, you're winning right now.
Yeah.
You've
it is a
turned
struggle,
things around.
You know. Yeah, and it's a struggle every day. Like, you know, this is like the hardest thing I ever did in my whole entire life. Walking straight, flying straight is the hardest.
And you did how long in prison?
9.5 years.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost a decade. That's like, you know, a lot of things change. It's like a whole different lifestyle in prison. So going from prison to out there after being in prison for so long, it's like, what does it seem like? How does it feel?
Well, honestly, it was a little overwhelming when I first got out. It was like, I didn't know, like, I mean, I knew I had to get a job. I knew I had to find an apartment. I had to do all this stuff, but, like, where do you start? Like, nobody wanted to rent to me. Like, my landlord right now is so cool. I told her my story, and she's like, I'll give you a chance. She didn't even do a background check. She's like, I'll give you a chance.
Wow.
And, yeah, like, I was blessed with her. Like, because I went to, like, about 10 different places, and nobody would rent.
Yeah, because a lot of people, if you're a felon, if you just got out of prison, they don't want nothing to do with you.
Right. They don't, you know, they just think that we're the worst of the worst, and it's not. It's like, you know, people do change. You know, I'm living proof of that. You know what I mean? And it's like, give somebody a chance. Just give them a chance.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? You get rent for a few months, and then you got to kick them out. Oh, well, rent the place again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate when people don't give other people a chance just based on their past, you know? You never know.
Well, I mean, that's
you know what I mean?
It's kind of the situation that I'm in. It's like, I don't ever get another chance. I'm serving life without the possibility of parole. I was 20 years old when I got arrested, and here I am 14 years later, and I didn't even do what it is that I got convicted for. You know, I got convicted for aggravated murder, which is the worst crime that is on the books, and they gave me life without the possibility of parole, and there is no second chance for me, you know? So I really think that second chances are something that people can change, like you said, and people should be, as a society, especially when people are young and they've gone through a whole bunch of shit when they were young. Like, I went to this place when I was 15 years old called Costa by the Sea, and then to Tranquility Bay, and these were some pretty harsh programs that actually got shut down. They were called behavioral modification programs for troubled youth, right? And they actually got shut down because they were abusing and even killing kids in some cases, and they deemed that these places were just crazy, right? So, you know, I never really thought a lot about it until later on in my life. And when I started going back and having people do some research, they found like all these crazy stories of all these kids that turned out real messed up because of these programs that they went through, right? And I spent over a year of my life in there, and then after that, I got out of that place. I was like 16, going on almost 17, and then by the age of 20, I got kicked out onto the streets not shortly after coming back from those places, and then I was just a bad kid. But I was a kid. That was the thing. I never grew up, until after like 6 or 7 years of being in prison, and it finally dawned on me. And by that time, it's too late. It's too late. There's nothing that could be done by that point. I got life in prison. So I just, I always ask people when they come on here what their thoughts are on life sentences. So if you don't mind, if I ask you that, what is your thoughts on locking people up for the rest of their lives?
Being in prison, I met a lot of my friends were lifers in prison. They kind of took me under their wing and everything, and like, I believe that if you honestly, have remorse over your crime and you feel sorry for what you did, or you know what I mean, I believe you get a second chance, because God gives everybody second, third, fourth, millions of chances. You know what I mean? Like, who says, like, especially like the death penalty, like, you're killing people. You're literally killing people on a death penalty. So it's okay to kill people? That's what you're enforcing? You know what I mean? Like, you can't kill another human being. That's against the law. But then there's death penalty and it's all okay? Like, how's that even possible? Like, and I don't know your story. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what happened. But you were 20 years old and people make mistakes. You know what I mean? And if you didn't do it, then you should definitely not even be in there right now.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm just like the innocent victim in here, and I was doing a lot of bad stuff at the time, so I put myself in the position to end up in prison. Like, I don't have any doubt that I was destined for prison or death. I could have died several times while I was out there, and God, somebody had a gun cocked back and tried to pull the trigger and shoot me in the face, So that could have been, and the gun didn't go off. So I could have been dead, but I ended up in prison, and I don't have any, like I'm not making excuses for that, and I do have tons of remorse for all the things that I've done, but I didn't commit the crime that I'm accused of committing. I'm not guilty of what I got found guilty of, and the way that everything went down was completely not what the truth was. But because I wouldn't tell on anybody, and because they felt like, well, we're gonna get you for this if you don't, now I'm here. And I really accept responsibility for everything that I have done in my life, and everything that I have done, and I deserve to go to prison for a long time. I just feel like there's got to be some type of redemption at the end of it if people really do actually change, because I'm living proof of change right here. All the things that I've done. I wrote a book. I started a business that's a social enterprise. Are you familiar with the concept of the social enterprise?
No, I am not. No.
So basically it's like a business that donates, or not donates, but reinvests 50% of profits back into some type of cause, right? And our cause is towards helping people in prison. Like, we are trying to provide a platform for people to display and promote their positive works. Like, people that are doing good stuff in prison, for them to be able to have a place to get recognized for that, because there really isn't. All the TV shows, all the stuff, it's always about drama. It's always about something negative. It's always about how, everybody in prison is like a monster. Everybody's a bad dude. And yeah, granted, there's plenty of dudes that are like that, and women. Everybody, there's plenty of people like that, but there's also another side of the coin. There's another side to the story. There's people that are doing something with their lives and trying to effect change. Like, it's just a way. The social enterprise is a way to get people engaged that can get involved in a cause, and we want to reinvest into other people to make it to where, giving people opportunities to say, hey, look, you can do something with your life. I wrote a book called The Convicted Entrepreneur that kind of breaks down not only my story a little bit and gives you a taste of my story, but it also shows you how to be a legit baller. It gives you all the tools that you need to be able to do things, not only from in prison, it's from a prisoner's perspective, but it also is for people out there, because everything that we're doing, anybody out there could do it just as well as somebody in here could do it. But it's got the inspiration of, like, if I can do it and I'm sitting in prison for the rest of my life, anybody can do it. You know what I mean?
Anybody can do it, yeah.
Right. So why sit there and go and sell drugs or, commit crimes, robberies and shit, when there's so many things that you can do? Even you can apply all those skills to it. And I'm writing another book right now which tells my story, like the whole story about, what led me up to going to that behavioral modification program, and then how all through that, after what happened, and then coming to prison, and the story of everything that goes through it. So anyways, Lizzie, I just really appreciate you coming on here, opening up, hanging out, and telling us a little bit about yourself. And it's been nice getting to know you, and I hope that in the future we can, do more stuff and collaborate, and maybe come back again later on and get an update on how things are going. And I can't wait to check out your website.
I know, yes. My website's amazing. I love it. It's, the Nerdy Bird design website design company is the ones that help me with it. Like, Ron is amazing. He definitely, he helped me out with it and everything and set everything up for me, and I just love it. It's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, I'm going to have somebody print some stuff out for me so I can check out, what you got going on. And,
okay, great.
So we're thinking about doing a story about you in our next edition of our magazine. We have the Inside Design Conviction, the magazine, as well as the Outside Design Conviction, the magazine. The Inside magazine basically goes out to people across prison. We have an art contest in there. That art contest and writing contest, people send in submissions, and then we put them on our social media sites, and people vote. And whatever the winners are, we put the top 10 people in the printed edition of the Outside magazine, and then the top 20 into the online edition of it. So we have it quarterly coming out, and we would love to do a feature on you in the magazine and kind of tell your story, and we can, promote what you got going on as well, if you're interested.
That would be great. I would love that. I would definitely love that.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I just appreciate you coming by, and thank you for talking to us today. And like I said, we would love to have you back again.
I would love to do that, Tyler, and thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Well, you have a good day, Lizzie.
You too, hon.
Okay. Bye. Thank you very much, Lizzie, and here we are. And at this portion of the show, what I like to do is do a little question and answer. First of all, I want to tell you, if you get on A Life of a Lifer on the Twitter, on Instagram, on wherever you can find it online at lifeofalifer.com, and you hit us up and ask a question, I'll get back to you, and you might be on the show yourself. So make sure that you hit us up and ask your questions, because I think that it's important to be able to interact. I'm always curious to know what it is that you want to know, and always open to answer questions. So today I got a question from somebody, and it's talking about, what do I do with my downtime? Thank you for asking the question. I guess what I do with my downtime is kind of a question that depends what I got going on, but for the most part, my downtime consists of doing something productive. Like, I like to multitask at the same time, so a lot of times what I'll be doing is I'll be writing while maybe watching a little bit of TV. And so that could lead into, what do you watch on TV? And there's not a lot of shows that I really watch, but I'll tell you one that I like a lot. I don't even listen to it half the time. It's Ridiculousness with my dude Rob Dyrdek. I've been watching that. He's a goofy guy. He's quite entertaining though, and respect his style in that he kind of keeps it real, man, and he's fun, and he always puts a sense of humor on different stuff and makes it interesting. So I've been watching him for a long time, since Robin Big, and then he had Fantasy Factory, and now he's got the Ridiculousness. So the guy's just built a very successful career all the way throughout his time. So I like watching that because it's always on, so I don't have to search the channels. I find it all the time on MTV. While I'm doing that, I'll kind of peek over at it or whatever, and then I'll be writing a song. I like writing songs while doing that, on my downtime. Other than that, I'm doing stuff all throughout my day, so I have a pretty busy schedule. And most of the stuff, though, is stuff that I created for myself, because there's really not a lot of programming opportunities for a guy in my situation, in particular doing a life without the possibility of parole. But if one wants to, you can create all kinds of activities and different stuff to do to be productive with your time and not just sit around and waste away. So that's what I've done. And, a lot of times I'll do writing, like I'm doing these magazines. I write articles for that. I write different concepts for that. I put together ideas of things that I want to do. You know, I help some people out and write like success plans, help to create ideas of different things to do to be able to stimulate growth within their lives. So I spend time working on that, and I'm also taking a philosophy class right now, so I spend time studying that. Pretty interesting, all the different concepts that are covered within philosophy. So, you know, I enjoy that. I like to talk on the phone a little bit too, you know, whenever it's possible, if I'm able to, you know, call up a friend and chat about what's new, find out what's going on in the world, try to stay in touch with people. And just because I'm locked up doesn't mean that I can't still maintain friendships and relationships with people that are out there in the free world. And it helps me to feel like, you know, I'm not just stuck in here and this is life. You know, there's more to life, and I try to keep that hope going. So, you know, even with my downtime, I might stop and kick back. Sometimes I'll read a little bit, but most of the time the stuff that I read, like, people would think that it's boring. You know, I read books on how to do business better. I read books on how to create better content. I read books on, you know, just like learning the new technologies, because I don't really have access to any of that. So I try to get the most up-to-date books that I can so I can find out how all this stuff works to be able to create new platforms for all the things that we got going on. So I spend a lot of time doing that. And then I guess my other pastime, which, again, you're probably going to say, man, this dude is a boring-ass dude. But to me, I enjoy it immensely, and I study the stock market. So when I'm not watching fantasy or ridiculousness, a lot of times I'll be watching CNBC and watch the watch the stock market. I think that is something that not only is it productive, but I find it fun to see all the different businesses, see how things are moving. You can see how politics play into it. You see how everything operates, not only in this country, but on a global scale, because you get all different aspects of what's going on in the markets of the world, and, you know, that controls our economies. So staying tuned into that is something that really is a pastime of mine, I guess I would say, but also a part of my daily life, because I like to stay plugged into what's going on, what's current, and what's out there. And also, I like to make money in the stock market. So, you know, I do some buying and selling of stocks via, you know, other people that I don't have direct access to do that, but, you know, I give out my I guess, advice or guidance on how to do that. Have had a little bit of success with it. So, you know, I keep doing it and keep moving forward on that. And I guess, you know, it kind of makes me feel like a nerd after saying all this stuff, but really I just like to get the most out of my days and be productive and continue to grow and move forward. So I try to use my downtime as a time to do things that I'm able to do while still taking a leisure, because a lot of times when you free up your mind, that's when you think of the most creative stuff. So with the advancement of having the JPay and being able to have a tablet that I can write on and send out emails and stuff on, it's pretty great. And therefore, I'm able to sit down and if I'm doing something like that and it comes to mind, boom, I can write it down. Or if I think of a concept for a song, boom, I can sit there and write it down. And that's basically what I do with my downtime. But anyways, you know, I want to once again thank you for coming with your questions, and I would like to reiterate that if you have any other questions, go ahead and hit us up, and I'll definitely get back to you. If I'm not able to respond to you on here, we'll answer them, you know, on social media or a direct email back to you. However we got to get to it, but please do feel free to ask away. Thank you very much, and look forward to next time. Just remember that this is the season premiere of our second season of Life of a Lifer, so I'm super excited that, we wrapped up the first season, and we're continuing to go on through this and get new and different people to interview, and it's fun and it's exciting, and I really do appreciate everybody who is supporting this thing. Without your help, I'm just a guy that's in prison talking over a phone, and I wouldn't be able to do none of this. And, it's such an empowering thing to be able to have a voice for the voiceless, because generally your voice isn't heard. You're just lost, gone, and forgotten about. And that's something that we need to really, really make a point of, that everybody are still people, regardless of where they're at or what circumstance they're in, whether they're a homeless person on the street, whether they're a rich multi-billionaire, or whether they're serving the rest of their life in prison or anywhere in between there. We are all just people at the end of the day. So with that, have a good one. We'll be back next time, so stay tuned. And remember, our new time that we're publishing is Wednesday morning, 5 a.m. But that doesn't mean that you have to get in on that. You can get in at any time, and to listen to any of the back issues, just go ahead and visit us on any of the major platforms. You can visit lifeofalifer.com, or you can get us on SoundCloud, Apple, iTunes, Google Play. We're everywhere, basically. So go ahead and hit us up. Check us out. All right.
Keep on walking.